All right, so that's me. I actually had that picture taken in celebration of my 60th birthday about a year and a half ago. And so I actually have had a chronic lung disorder for 40 years. And so if you hear me cough, I'm not sick. That's my baseline. But I used to be very sick. I used to be on a lot of machines and medications to breathe. Clinically, the doctors told me I looked like somebody with cystic fibrosis. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But CF can affect both lung and gut. So it has been a 40-year journey. At one point, I had a doctor want to take part of my right lung out to look at it. And I said, absolutely not. Intuitively, I knew that that was not the solution. So I went down quite a journey of doctors, medications, treatments. I was actually one of 100 patients in the entire country in 2009 that went to the National Institute of, the NIH. So the NIH is out in Bethesda, Maryland, and they did an undiagnosed disease program. And my doctors at Yale were so baffled by my condition that they sent me there, and I spent a week, 8 tubes of blood a day, and I had a team of 50 doctors. If you've ever seen the show House, it is very much like that show, only my doctors were nice. They were very nice. I had a very nice pulmonologist, but they basically studied me from head to toe. They even took blood. They did an exome sequencing on me. They took blood from all my family members that were still living and looking for that needle in a haystack. We ruled out cystic fibrosis. We know we don't have that. If you're interested in more of my story, my first book, Roots, R-O-O-T-S, the numeral 2, Wellness, is my first book, and also my website is janetburney.com, and I tell a little bit more about my story there. But that's what brought me here to this point in my life. Did I ever think that I was going to be speaking on health and wellness? Absolutely not. But I have just been through such a journey that I couldn't not share it. And I think there are so many people out there that are sick, and they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. So that's my passion now, is helping people to feel better. So the other thing is, I talked about the machines. I worked in the corporate world. I worked in the early childhood field. I ran 47 schools in the Northeast. So I was very, very much into leadership and lots of children. I love kids, and that's my background in education, is early childhood education. I also became an integrative health coach in 2012 because I did it for myself. I didn't do it to become a coach. I did it because I wanted to learn everything under the sun about nutrition, lifestyle, and how to live well. So I ended up going to the Institute, and then in 2016, they contacted me because they had heard about my story and all the work I do on gut health and everything else in my life, and they said, will you come work for us? So for 6 years, I ran their gut health course program, and they are the largest nutrition school in the country. Highly recommend them, they're fabulous. I published my first book in 2014, which is Roots to Wellness. I have been on all kinds of TV, radio, podcasts, keynotes. I've talked to as few people as 3 to as many as 400. So it's been a blast. I already mentioned that one. And then I joined Therium about a year and a half ago, which is a company I'll talk a little bit more about. I have never been a product person in my life, but I found a product that actually is just made from organic whole foods. And I was like, okay, that's a game changer for me. So I'm always looking to bring things into my life that are clean, wholesome, and that are going to help keep my body strong and healthy. Because I have to fight anything that's going around, like COVID and viruses and bacterial infections. They all want to go right here to my lungs. So I really protect my body in so many ways. And then in November, I published my 3rd book. That's one of the pictures on the cover of the book. And just a little funny story about that dress. I bought it on my honeymoon. I was 21 years old, and I was in Maui. And that dress is very special to me. And so when I was going to take my 60th birthday picture, I decided I wanted to find that dress in my closet, and couldn't believe I could still zip it up. So it's very special to me. But the funny thing is, my publisher, when she was helping me with my book, she goes, well, since your dress is vintage, I've never been called vintage before, so that was new. But anyways, and then what's not on here is that I'm also a grandma of 2 little rugrats who I absolutely adore. They are 7 and 4, and I'm still the crazy grandma who climbs up the ladder, goes down the slides with them, gets in the water, and plays. And I'm so happy to be able to say that I can still do that, because back in the day, my doctors didn't think I'd make it to 60. So I'm here to say you can do it, whatever it is. All right, next slide, please, Hannah. Thank you. Don't you love I Love Lucy? I love Lucy.
That's one of the best.
Whenever I see her pictures, do you remember the chocolate one?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Conveyor belt. Yes.
My two, I had 2 grandmas. They both worked in the Kiss department at Hershey Factory in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And one ran the Kiss belt and the other one wrapped kisses. And whenever I see Lucy, I think of my grandma's, because remember her stuffing the chocolate in her mouth. But anyway, so a lot of clients come to me. I tend to get people who have had chronic issues, and so they're not sleeping well, their energy is low, they're really fatigued, they're having digestive issues. A lot of people come to me with that, brain fog, and then also excess weight. So those are kind of the things that the majority of my clients come to me with. And I'm like, I really am not actively, I shouldn't say that, I am actively doing it, but like I'm mostly a retired grandma. And then I just want to help people. So this is what I do and what I love. It's a passion. Next slide, please. Okay, meet my gremlin friend. And this is what I call body talk. So they're kind of hard to see in those bright colors. But if you can check yes to any of these things, so we've got poor sleep, acne, diarrhea, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome is IBS, heartburn, cravings, brain fog, weight gain or loss, achy joints, headaches, fatigue, mood swings, anxiety, itchy ears, hair loss, a cough, stuffy nose, back to poor sleep. That is your body talking to you, okay? So when our body is whispering to us, these are sometimes little whispers, okay? It starts out as a whisper and then it starts getting louder. And it's really talking to you, and it's telling you, you know, oh, my hip, my throat, whatever it is. And then you start screaming at you, and that's when there's usually a diagnosis. So I really encourage people, this is what I call, what we call in my field are lifestyle diseases. Lifestyle diseases are things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, all kinds of heart disease, even some types of cancers are a lifestyle disease. The chronic fatigue, the poor sleep, this is all related to lifestyle. So changing up our lifestyle is critical. But one way to know that you need to do that is when you have these little signs and symptoms. When they're whispering to you, that's when you really need to listen, because your body is telling you it's out of balance. And when the body's out of balance, that usually means there's an underlying inflammation going on in the body. And if that underlying inflammation is there, it stirs up all kinds of problems. I used to work also in biotechnology. I know that's a far cry from early childhood education, but I basically, when I was home with my son, I took a break from corporate world for about 6 years, and all of a sudden he's back in school, and I'm hyperactive, can you tell? And I'm like, I gotta go do something, and I needed something new. So with my disease, it was hard traveling when I was in early childhood. So I took a job with a biotechnology company. It was a nonprofit, and they were working on rare childhood diseases. And so that immediately piqued my interest. So I started working with them and learned so much about epigenetics. And epigenetics, so we're all born with a set of genes. It's like our genetic makeup that makes us our hair brown or our eyes blue or whatever. We're all born with those genes. Some of us are born predisposed to heart disease. Some are predisposed to dementia. Some are predisposed to cancers, certain types of cancers. So basically, this is your gene, right? So epigenetics, this is your gene. Epi in Latin means surface. It's the surface of your gene. So your surface of your gene can change depending on your lifestyle. You can keep that heart disease in the off switch with your lifestyle. You can also turn it on with your lifestyle. You can be predisposed to dementia. You can keep that gene off. So I'm fascinated by this, and a lot of it has to do with lifestyle. It has to do with nutrition. It has to do with stress, all of these other things. So please, if you don't do anything else, listen to your body and get some help if your body is whispering to you that it's out of balance and it's inflamed. All right, next slide, please. So all disease begins in the gut. Hippocrates said this how many thousands of years ago, right? I truly believe this in all the work I've done in gut health, and gut health is part of the issue I've had. Again, clinically, I look like somebody with cystic fibrosis. So did you know that the gut is 30 feet long from mouth to anus? Our gut is 30 feet long, and there's so many things that can go wrong. I mean, and there's so many things that can go right too. But yeah, 30 feet is your gut journey. So over 74% of Americans are dealing with gut-related issues. What do you think the primary cause of that is?
Diet.
The foods we consume. And I will tell you right now that it's the overly processed foods with sugars and refined flours and partially hydrogenated oils. Partially hydrogenated oil is to your heart what sand and gravel is to a working clock. So yeah, in fact, when my husband had a aortic surgery, long story, they served him something with partially hydrogenated oil, and I was like, call the nutritionist, like, what are you doing? He's in a cardiac unit. Anyways, okay, 90% of all disease begins in the gut. The gut is the gatekeeper to your health, without a doubt. The gut is your largest sensory organ, and it's a major player in a healthy immune system. Your gut microbiome is an ecosystem unto itself, like a garden that must be nourished for optimal health. I love thinking of my body as a landscape. You know, you want to unearth what's at the root problem. You want to weed out any obstacles that might be blocking your path to health. And then you want to nourish it. You want to give it what it needs. And that's what I'm all about. Let's get to the nourishment part. So you are not just what you eat, like Grandma said, but you are what you absorb. So a lot of people, okay, I'm eating all the broccoli in the world, but what's going on here? Why is it not, working for me? Maybe your body isn't absorbing it. I remember back in the day when I was really unhealthy, I was really deficient in D3, I was deficient in magnesium, and I was deficient in B12. I had to get injections, I had to take higher doses of the D3. Again, my body was so out of balance and so inflamed that I wasn't absorbing nutrients. So you want to get your blood checked. You want to work with your doctor and find out what's going on with and you have to ask for it too. Like, can you check my magnesium? Can you check my D3? Blah, blah, blah. You want to check those. Glyphosate. This is gives me the shivers. Okay. Roundup is banned in Europe for a reason. Okay, in America, we are getting crops, rices, corn, all kinds of grains sprayed with Roundup, and it's got glyphosate in it. I think, in my opinion, okay, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but I will tell you that in my opinion, glyphosate is one of the #1 causes of certain types of cancers. I truly believe that. And so if you're eating conventionally grown, and there's labels on our fruits and vegetables as well that have the number 9. If you're eating it, actually 4, if you're eating it and it begins with a 4, it's conventionally grown. It means it's sprayed with pesticides of some sort. If it has a 4 on it, that means it's organically, a 9, it's organically grown. I'll get it straight yet. There is a wonderful website. It's a free.org. It's EWG.org, which stands for Environmental Working Group. They have a wonderful website that has the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. So if it's on the Clean 15 list, go ahead and eat it conventionally because it's probably not getting a hefty dose of whatever that spray is. But if it's on the Dirty Dozen list, like blueberries and strawberries and things like that, you do not want to eat those conventionally. You want to eat those in organic form only, period. I also love to shop local farms because the local farmers, if I know them and trust them, and they tell me that they're not spraying, and they explain what they're using, I will buy my produce from them even though they're not certified organic, because it's really costly to become a certified organic thing. So yeah, you want to stay away from conventionally grown grains and certain other vegetables and produce. And then your poop tells the story of how healthy your gut is. My grandsons love that I talk poop. Yeah, it's kind of a common thing. I'm always talking poop with my clients. How's your poop today? What's going on in the poop department? So yeah, your poop tells a story. I mean, is it thin? Is it floating? Is it sinking? Is it loose? Is it hard? Are you having nuggets? Are you going 1 to 3 times a day? All of these things are telling a story about how healthy your body is. So poop is really important. Yes, thank you. Okay, lifestyle diseases, we talked a little bit about this. Yes, I'm getting ahead of myself. But high blood pressure, high cholesterol, cardiovascular disease, digestive disorders, type 2 diabetes, don't get me going. People with blood sugar issues is a total lifestyle disease and can be reversed. We have seen clients who have gone on programs that we suggest and they have reversed their type 2 diabetes. Their doctor took them off. One of the fellows that we were working with took them off 4 different blood medications, including insulin. So huge. You can totally reverse that. Some cancers and then other chronic inflammatory diseases. Autoimmune conditions are popping up left and right. I mean, I get clients who say, and some of them I've never even heard of, and I'm like, again, that's your body saying, I'm out of balance and I am not happy with you. So, next slide, please. Thank you. Don't mask with meds. Some meds are a must, okay? I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm never going to tell somebody to go off a medication, but I always challenge them to talk to their doctor about what other options there are. I would rather see somebody get to what is the root cause? What is the underlying problem that is causing the situation, including depression, anxiety. These are things that people are commonly being treated for. And like depression, food and mood are such a real thing. I have had clients that come to me and once they change their lifestyle, they're like, oh my gosh, my doctor took me off my antidepressants because I don't feel depressed anymore. I feel good, I feel energy, I feel up. So yeah, food and mood are a real thing. So yeah, get to the root of it. Let's fix it at the root. Okay, next slide, please. And health up your lifestyle. Yeah, stress is one of the #1 gut disruptors. And I will tell you that I remember I experienced a huge loss in my life. Lost somebody I loved dearly. I've lost several people I've loved dearly. Total gut disruptor. My gut went absolutely crazy and I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do, right? But yeah, stress is a extreme gut disruptor, health disruptor, and will trigger conditions and inflammation in the body. So decreasing your stress, finding and that's part of that weeding out. So we've unearthed what the issue is, but we're weeding out now about what is creating that stress. So whether it's a relationship, a job that's no longer serving you, whatever it is, financial stresses, find help. Get help for it, change it, start taking those little steps to make a difference. Okay, be relationship selective. I can't say this enough because I have somebody in my life who is rather toxic and unfortunately I'm related to her. So, and for a period of time, I really had to put the shield up and release, and one of my mentors in life said to me, release with love. And when you let somebody go that's toxic in your life and you release them with love, it makes all the difference in the world for you and for that person. And then, you know, I'm always open to try and come together again, but at the same time, I'm not the person trying to fix the problem. And just getting rid of that was like this weight coming off my shoulders. So yeah, be selective with your relationships. And do what you love. Oh my gosh, I can't say that enough. You know, some people are like, well, are you an integrative nutrition person or are you an artist? And I'm like, I'm both. I'm both. I love both. I'm passionate about it. So yeah, I do both and I love what I do, and you can probably tell I effervesce my enthusiasm. Change your narrative. Okay, the power of positive thinking. Your mind is one of the most amazing things on the planet, okay? So when I first started, I lived in chronic fear. I told myself negative reruns all the time in my head, all the time. And shutting those down was not easy. And then I transitioned to living in hope. You know, I'm constantly living in hope. Well, what is this? This doctor's gonna have the cure. This doctor's gonna fix me. You, whatever it is, you've got it inside you. You don't need that external thing to fix you. And another mentor in my life said to me, we need to get rid of the word hope in our vocabulary. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like living on hope. And he said, replace it with believe. And that, let me tell you something, just gave me the shivers. That was the beginning of when the magic happened for me. When I started believing that I was well, in the present tense, not that I could be well. When I started believing that I could do whatever it is that I needed to do in my life, that's when things started to shift. And one of the things I do with clients as well is I have them take a little note piece of paper, I have them draw a line down the middle. I have them take those negative thoughts that keep popping into their head, you know, and 80% of what we think is negative. That self-talk about ourselves is like, or even about a loved one, it's like when those things, those thoughts pop into your head, write it in the left-hand column. You can even do it kind of on your phone if you got that little notepad thingy, if you don't want to do it in a journal. And then on the right side, you rephrase it. You rephrase it into something really positive. You make it into a statement that is going to serve you well. And then at the very end, after you've done this for a couple of weeks, you tear it down the middle, you crumple up the left side, you can burn it, throw it away, whatever, and then the right side, you want to practice those. You want to say them over and over again. Put them on a sticky note, stick them on your fridge. It's amazing the difference. You can do this with relationships. You can do this with a job that you want to get, or your business, the company that you're working in. If you want more clients, anything, it's just so incredibly powerful. I can't even tell you. I actually, when I was at the heart of my illness, I wrote myself a love letter. And I wrote it in the present tense with all the things I wanted to bring in my life. From the financial stability, to the relationships in my life, to the work I wanted to do, to the health I wanted to experience. And, you know, it's a one-pager, love Janet. I read it to myself before I went to bed every single night. Every single night, probably for over a year. And I will tell you that all of those things have come to be. Seriously have come to be. And it's amazing how powerful it is. So change the narrative. Move your body. Oh my goodness, I can't say enough about that. Even if it's slow steps. I mean, if you're dealing with the achy joints or you've got a condition or whatever, there's all different ways to get your body moving. One of my favorite ways, and I do it with my grandkids, is we dance. You know, we'll put on YouTube in my family room and it's just, we go crazy. We have so much fun. So moving your body is so important. And also, you know, strength training. I'm not a gym person. I am not a workout person, but I do have a great appreciation for strength training because as we age, we lose muscle. And as we age, we can hyperextend. So there's a lot of different ways to move our body. I love to kayak, I love to walk, but get out there and start moving and work with somebody. I have a lower back issue. I destroyed my 5th disc from gymnastics. I was in an Olympic training program when I was a young teen, and I worked with a personal trainer, and I said to her, and she gave me I did it from home. She did a Zoom with me. It was amazing. And she taught me accommodations to protect my back so that I didn't hurt that sensitive area. And then love food that loves you back. This is my expertise, guys. This is like the area that I'm like, and that's why I wrote my third book, Health Up, because I wanted to take basic comfort foods like shepherd's pie and lasagna and, you know, peanut butter chocolate chip cookies and all those things and really get the goodness in them, like make them more nutritionally powerful and, you know, get rid of a lot of the toxins that are in there. So that's been a huge passion for me. And then nourish your gut microbiome, and there's so many ways to do that. You know, pre and probiotics, there's so many different types of pre and probiotics, and it depends on who you are as an individual and what's going on as to which one is best for you. But yeah, so that's the other part. So yes, health up your lifestyle. You got this. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is one of the ways that I work with people. I'm just going to be really quick about it. Your Wellness Design, this is one of the programs that I do. I do a one-on-one, I meet in person or if they're local, or I do it on the phone. We work on a design, and I have a long questionnaire that I have people fill out because I want to know a lot about that person before I start working with them. And I usually do my first call is usually 30 minutes to get to know somebody and see if it's if this is going to be a good fit for both of us before we commit to anything. And that was just a little, I'm not going to read that, but Terry had done, her husband got completely off all his medications for high blood pressure, statins, pain reliever. So what's funny is Terry was my client, but her husband, who went along for the ride, ended up getting all of the great benefits of what she was doing. So it was pretty cool. All right, next slide, please. Okay, and then these are the products I mentioned that have been such a huge part of my life, and I've seen so many transformations with them. It's a lot of people who come to me do it for weight loss, but it's not just about weight loss. It is about getting superfood nutrition. So like the power shake that I have it every day. If I miss it, I don't feel like myself. I have it every day for lunch, and it's like having 6 salads in one serving. It's all organic, and it's all made from whole plant-based foods. There's no emulsifiers, fillers, additives, food dyes, none of the junk. So what I love about the company is they're family owned, they're out of California, they have a certified organic facility. So I didn't start doing this for clients, I did it for myself, because very rarely do I find supplements. Like if you're taking vitamin C, you're probably taking ascorbic acid, okay? Which is okay, but it's not made from whole foods. It's chemically made, it's synthetically made. I take a vitamin C through this company that is all food products. They basically take all the foods that are super rich in high vitamin C's that's natural and put it into the vitamin C. Because to be honest, I'm not a very big person. I don't eat a lot. So when I eat, I really try to focus on nourishing myself. But we're supposed to have at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables of each. 5 servings of fruits, 5 servings of vegetables every day. How many people get that? Seriously. So yeah, so I ended up aligning with this company. I now sell their products. So if you are ever interested, I'm happy to talk about what a custom product might work for you. We have a 90-day program. It's called the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation. And it's been huge for getting inflammation down, just getting you off of processed food, curbing sugar cravings. It's a really great program. So I absolutely love it. Next slide, please. Oh, and these are my books. So Roots to Wellness, Unearth the Root Cause of Disease and Discover Your Roots to Wellness is my first one. My second one is Rainbow Bird. It's a children's book. And my children's book, believe it or not, I wrote some 25 years ago. And I did it as a part of a creative writing class that I was involved with. But when I reread that book, I was publishing this one, I had never published that one. When I reread that book, I realized that it was when I was at the heart of my disease, and I felt like a misfit. I felt like I belonged on that island of misfit toys because I was different than everybody else, and nobody could figure out what was wrong with me. And I had some wonderful, wise old owl mentor, this is a little background about the book, who basically helped me realize that I had some special gifts inside and out, and then I had to publish that book. So I was like, okay, so Rainbow Bird has become, you know, a great little story for children who have been bullied or feel different and they're unique. And this is helping them realize that no matter who you are or what you are, you really have gifts to share with the world. And then Healthed Up, as I mentioned, is plant-based recipes, and the more is I've got a chapter on weight loss, a chapter on gut health, and a little bit about my story. So those are my books. And I think, is that my last slide? Oh, one more. Yeah, and that's how to reach me. So that's my website, janetvernie.com. My Facebook is Janet Faber-Verney. Instagram is R2WJanet. My cell, 860-819-9372. And then my email is Connect to Roots to Wellness, but for some reason it's not working right now. I gotta figure that out.
Later today.
I have one other thing. I have a goodie basket. Oh, and I have some books here for sale if anybody's interested. But I want to pass this around. This is a goodie bag that I want you to take without looking, so no cheating. Okay? On each goodie bag, there's an affirmation, okay, on the outside. I want you to think about how that affirmation that you randomly picked resonates with you in your life now, and how could you have more of it? Like, what is it that's in your life that might be preventing you from having that? Or what is it in your life that you could change? Little small steps lead to big change. So also in there is a little magnet for your refrigerator that says, I love food that loves me back. Okay, put that on your fridge. My business card is in there as well. And then yesterday I made one of my plant-based, it's a peanut butter chocolate chip cookie, so if you're allergic to peanut butter, give it to your friend or your neighbor. But it is vegan, plant-based, it has no extracted oils, and it is made with gluten-free ingredients, but my kitchen is not a gluten-free designated facility, so if you're celiac, you may want to give that cookie away as well. But yeah, so that's an example of one, my cookie, and the napkin that's in there says, friends are the chocolate chips in the cookie of life. So please, I'll give you the basket to pass around and you can take one.
Janet, could you pose with your basket?
Oh, they want me to pose with my basket?
You've got the shadow. Did you bring your books?
I brought some of my books, so if anybody wants one, they are $33, and I take checks, cash, credit cards, and any questions that you want to share. Thank you,
I have the book. I love the recipes, and I think that recipe for the chocolate cookies, that one?
Yeah, the peanut butter chocolate chip cookies is in there. I have a molasses cookie that's to live for. It's so good.
And it's broken down. She's got different ingredients you want in your kitchen, and where to buy them, I think. Yes, no, maybe not.
Oh, the ingredients, yeah, some of the ingredients, like I might have mentioned those, like I am addicted and obsessed with 1 Degree oats. So oats are one of the greatest foods on the planet, okay? The gut loves them because they have soluble fiber, insoluble fiber, resistant starch. They remove cholesterol from the body. Oats are like the best food on the planet. I eat a 3rd cup every morning. I usually eat them raw because I'm buying organic, sprouted, gluten-free oats. So they're very digestible. When something's sprouted, it's very digestible. So 1 Degree is sold at Costco, and they have literally a 5-pound bag for about $10. It lasts quite a long time. I make my cookies with it, my granola with it. I make hot oats. I eat them raw. You can do overnight oats with them. They're just the best ones. It's 1 Degree, and it's O-N-E degree, but spelled out, not the little degree sign. Yeah, yeah. So they're really awesome. But okay. Anything else?
That was wonderful.
Thank